before you end up doing anything with painting on your canvas, you need to block out some of the areas where the paint is going to change colors. So basically what I have here is I ended up getting the horizon line where the earth and sky meet, sketch that in. I ended up sketching in where the water is, okay, like right about here. And then I ended up sketching in where the mountains are, and then where the grass is. I think I'm going to wait on sketching in where the clouds are, because what I'm going to do is a background transition from the blue and transition all the way down to like the grayish blue here. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that in a minute. Once you get that laid out in pencil, it's kind of hard to erase, so you have to draw very lightly and get that sketched in, and then you're ready to begin painting. My next step is I'm going to work from the top to the bottom, and I like to put a basic paint color down first and then go back over it with more details. So what I mean by that is I'm going to start off by painting the sky, and I'm going to transition from the lighter, brighter cobalt blue down to this grayish blue. And then after it dries, I'm going to end up putting in more layers of paint and getting the clouds in. Same with these mountains here. I'm going to end up probably painting like a base color, maybe like some sort of green. Because trees are mostly green, I'm going to get this green, which I'm probably going to mix like a green, a brown, maybe a little of the yellow, and get that painted in. Then I'll go about and paint in a little bit of color with the water here. And then I will end up painting this area in green, probably adding a little bit more yellow into the green that I started with the trees here in the mountains. I'm ready to start my sky, and I'm going to work my way down. I mixed my paints. I mixed like a cobalt blue with a cyan blue. The color in this sky is pretty difficult to mix. And then I ended up mixing some of that same blue and added a little touch of black and a little touch of white to get more of that grayish blue down at the bottom. So here I go. I'm going to use a bigger brush. I'm just going to go with it. And this is going to be the underneath part for my clouds. I'm not actually going to see a lot of this pulling through. I'm going to go in the sky like a back and forth motion, so that's nice and even. You're going to find with the canvas that sometimes it's very hard to get in those little grooves because of that texture. So if that's the case on your first layer, sometimes I'll dip my brush into the water a little tiny bit and then get some more paint on my brush. And just with that little tiny bit of water helps the paint to seep into those little grooves. And you'll see what I mean once you start painting on a canvas, if this is your first time with it. I wanted to mix a lot of paint because I wanted to get a one-shot deal here with the sky. I'm not doing any details right now. I'm just getting the main part of the sky. And if I were to dry up my paint, sometimes it's very hard to mix that same exact color the next time around. I'm sure you probably experienced that before when you were painting. So you want to mix a lot of paint, enough to cover that area you're working with. And since this is probably the biggest area that I have to work with, I mixed a ton of paint. You can't see it right now, but there's a lot of paint there. All right, so now I think I'm going to start to transition to that next color, which has that grayish tone to it. And when you want to mix colors together and have a nice even transition, what I tend to do, see right here, I'm getting this line. I want it to blend in a little bit and make a gradual transition. I like to get the excess paint off my brush. Oops, my brush just broke. And then I will just go right over it, back and forth. Keep wiping and back and forth. And then I wipe again, and that tends to blend a little easier. If you have all that paint gooked onto the bottom of your brush, oops, sorry, there's the bell. Oh my gosh, why that bell? See, I'm starting to get to the point where it's not going in the grooves. I'm gonna dip a little tiny water on my brush and just go back and forth until it's covered. Although I don't have to worry about it too much because I'm going to be doing another layer of clouds. So even if it's not perfect, it's okay. All right, I need to actually mix some more black in with my blue. Starting to actually run out of paint. Thought I mixed enough. I actually went over my mountains a little bit here, which is okay. I don't know about this color here. I'm gonna probably add like a little bit more white. I'm not feeling it. I don't think I added enough white to begin with. That's the great part about acrylic painting, is you can keep adding on top of each other. You can have more than one layer. Okay. So that's pretty much what I'm going to get for now. So I've got the colors down a little bit. That top color in that sky is almost impossible to mix. Sometimes I feel like it probably just needs to be a store-bought color, but we'll see. But I don't have to worry about it. With my picture, I'm putting clouds over it, so I won't even notice it. I mixed my green, mixed a little bit of brown with some green. I'm just going to block in the green where I see it taking place in those mountains. And as you can see, I'm not really trying too hard to get any details. I'm just putting in color. This is how most people that paint start. They just start with a base layer. And after that, you're probably going to add a couple more layers. I left this area because that's the water.